Good morning, Harry. Now is the time the kids are wrapping up school and getting ready to go to camp. But unlike schools and daycare centers, many camps in this country are operating with very little oversight. And a family in California learned that the hard way. A warning, this story does contain some disturbing video.
Yoni was a very happy, cheerful boy. He was full of life.
In the summer of 2005, Yoni Gottesman's parents took him to summer camp. It was supposed to be a fun and exciting experience.
And I remember when I left him in the morning, I told her that he barely said goodbye. He said, "Mommy, I'm so happy. Bye-bye, we'll see you later."
But that was the last time Annette Gottesman would see her son alive.
All of a sudden, I get a phone call asking me if I'm Yoni's father, and I said yes. She asked me to come to the club because he had some accident.
On his very first day of camp, little 4-year-old Yoni Gottesman drowned. His drowning was captured on this surveillance video. What you see is a camp counselor dunking Yoni over and over again in the water, a dozen times. Next, Yoni struggles to swim to the edge of the pool as the counselor turns his back to play with other children. Finally, Yoni is floating face down in the pool. Even with 2 lifeguards on duty and counselors in the water, it took 8 minutes before anyone noticed. Yoni died an hour later at the hospital.
We just couldn't understand how, that could have happened. Everything that we did was everything that every normal parents would do.
The Gottesmans would later learn the Cathedral Oaks Athletic Club had been operating its kids' camp without a license.
We just couldn't believe. At that time, we were thinking we were sending him to the best place. They advertised themselves as the best place, safest place. They held themselves as a very professional and exclusive club.
As it turns out, there are no federal regulations when it comes to camps. The rules vary greatly from state to state. 6 states don't require camps to be licensed at all. 28 states don't require criminal background checks on camp employees. And according to the American Camp Association, only 25% of camps in the U.S. are accredited, meaning they meet 300 health and safety standards.
I think the word camp is sometimes used too lightly.
Dr. Edward Walton is a pediatrician and member of the American Camp Association. He says the onus falls on parents to check camps carefully because there's no guarantee that a state or local agency is doing it.
Just the word camp could give parents a false sense of security that, of course, somebody's checking to make sure this is a safe place.
Just like the word school, the word camp has certain connotations that are in regards to safety and oversight.
So anyone can use the word camp, whether they know what they're doing with kids or not.
Anybody can use the word camp, and that's why parents really need to be careful.
The Gottesmans have sued the camp where Yoni drowned, and they are on a mission to warn other parents about the lack of oversight at so many camps across the nation.
We want to feel that Yoni, he didn't die in vain, that his death at least will serve good purpose. If we can save more kids' lives, that's what we want to do.
Last month, a jury awarded the Gottesman family more than $16 million in their son's death. Through an attorney for the club, we requested an interview or a comment, and neither was provided. Harry. Good morning, Harry. From state consumer affairs departments to the Better Business Bureau, thousands of consumers across the country have reported being ripped off when they sold their gold. So we want to see what would happen when we tried to sell this gold ring valued at $58.
Now's the time to send your unwanted gold for cash.
From TV commercials
Gold has become a very popular investment.
to network news programs, selling your gold for cash has been the hot topic.
Tonight, for all of my gold, I got $546.
But these golden opportunities have been tarnished for some consumers who say they've walked away feeling empty-handed.
People are realizing that it's definitely not all it's cracked up to be.
Helena Cradell is with the Jewelry Information Center, a trade group for the jewelry industry.
Are people getting ripped off selling their gold?
Buyer beware.
We decided to find out what would happen when we tried to sell this 18-karat gold ring. According to the Jewelry Information Center, we should get $58 for it. We took 3 identical rings, sent one to Cash for Gold.
Cash, the number 4, gold.com.
Took one to a gold party.
It's 18 karat.
And took one to the Jewelry District in New York City.
Okay, put it on the scale. Let me see.
After stopping at 3 jewelry shops, our highest offer was $52.
Walking into a jewelry shop, we got $52 was the highest.
That's great. That is a realistic expectation.
At our gold party, we were offered less.
So it's worth $38.
So gold party, $38 for our ring.
Okay.
Good deal, bad deal?
Well, it depends. If you're going into this gold party thinking it's going to be entertainment, then maybe it's an option for you.
I can get cash for this gold medallion.
And finally, Cash for Gold. Their TV commercials make selling gold seem so easy. And it was. All we had to do was drop our ring into an envelope, and several days later, we got a check in the mail for $8.95.
So what do you think of $8.95?
That's absolutely unacceptable.
In the end, the jeweler was the best bet, coming in at $52. The gold party gave us $38, and we got less than $10 for sending it in. We weren't going to get rich selling this ring, but shopping around for the best price turned out to be worth its weight in gold.
So the lesson learned, if you want to get the best price, you should probably get 3 estimates before you sell your gold, Harry. Good morning, Harry. Here's a look at some of the recent cases. 15 people at a wedding in Florida hurt when the deck ripped off the house. 7 people hurt at a party in New Jersey, 9 in Cincinnati, 6 in Casper, Wyoming. In all of these cases, the decks collapsed without warning, and experts say 50% of all decks in the U.S. are probably unsafe.
It was the perfect little week getaway in the Smoky Mountains.
In the summer of 2003, Brian and Jen Talmadge rented a secluded cabin in the hills of Tennessee.
Everything was gorgeous and brand new, so I didn't think anything would be wrong.
But after days of relaxing on the cabin's 2-story deck, the unthinkable happened.
I lit the grill, I stepped inside, and that's when I heard this lightning bolt-like crash.
That noise was the deck collapsing, with Jen still on it.
I just remember thinking, this is it.
Jen fell 40 feet, along with a hot tub and a hot barbecue grill.
It was just a mess, lumber everywhere, dust coming up, and in my mind I'm thinking, there's no way she made it through that.
Jen was alive, but badly injured, with broken bones and 3rd-degree burns from the grill.
She survived somehow.
Over the past 10 years, nearly 1,000 people have been hurt or killed in deck collapses in the United States.
We estimate that at least 50% of the decks out there, approximately 20 million decks, need some type of repair or replacement. It's done with bolts.
We asked structural engineer Ricardo Arevalo to walk us through the warning signs of a dangerous deck. These 2 decks may look alike, but looks can be deceiving.
So one of these decks can come tumbling down.
Very easily.
Just like that.
Just like that.
The deck on the left was in great shape. It had metal connectors, slats less than 4 inches apart, and most importantly, the deck was held together with screws and bolts.
The most critical connection of a deck is how it's attached to the house. This piece of wood is called the ledger board, and you can see how it's secured with screws to the structure of the house.
The other deck looked good, but up close, it was a different story.
What's the problem with this deck?
There are a lot of problems with this deck, but the main problem is that you see missing connections. You don't see any metal underneath this deck, and metal is what ties pieces of wood together. Another problem with this deck is cracked wood.
Rusty nails, that's a bad sign.
But the most crucial flaw was with the ledger board, the point where a deck attaches to a house.
If we look up here, the attachment is made with only nails, and that's very unsafe.
As you see in this demonstration, nails can pull out and a deck can come crashing down.
I know we set this up for a demonstration, but something like this is common. Homes across America?
It's very common. Sometimes people don't take decks seriously, but it's very important that decks be properly built and maintained.
The area we were in.
Jen and Brian Talmadge say they never thought to inspect the deck at the cabin.
So this deck with a hot tub was being held on.
A 2-story deck, too.
With nails?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just nails?
Just nails.
That's why I felt like it did.
Brian and Jen now check every deck before stepping foot.
The biggest thing that I would say is don't take it for granted that your deck is safe. Check. Make sure that it's safe.
The average life expectancy of a wood deck is 10 to 15 years, Harry. And let me just say, trust me, I was underneath my deck this weekend checking it out, looking.